Alright, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Heroes of the Storm A to Z. My name, of course, is Conman. We're in the home stretch still. Today we're taking a look at Zagara, the last of the specialists. So Zagara she is very good as a split pusher, kind of like Zool, but in a different way. The idea for her is just to put creep everywhere and use creep to your advantage. You have possibilities with her. You know, she's got some decent ultimates. One of her ultimates could potentially give her a global presence, which will make it very difficult for enemies to track you down. So let's take a look and get started and see what makes her so kind of annoying to play with, depending on the map and how it gets played out. So looking at the stat sheet, nothing too fancy here out of the ordinary. 1.25 attacks per second, 3,600 health at 20. Nothing too fancy there. So first off, we'll look at her trait. Her trait, of course, as I mentioned, is creep. So creep tumor. You can place these things. You can see the targeting area where I'm able to plop it down, which is pretty much right next to me. There's 3 charges to start with. There's an 18-second charge cooldown. So what it does is, if you've played StarCraft 2 and you know about creep, if you haven't played StarCraft, or even the original StarCraft, not necessarily StarCraft 2, but you know what creep does. Creep is where you get to plant your buildings in StarCraft. Well, here creep is what it's going to empower your play in Zagara. While on the creep, you gain 20% additional attack range, and both you and the summons, and we'll talk about the summons, some of her abilities, are going to move faster by default. They also grant you vision. So let's look at this. I'm going to pop this creep down here. You see, now suddenly I'm in a range to shoot this thing. Look at the range goes up. Like, now I can actually hit stuff. Look, also my speed is faster. I'm 120 seconds or 120% now under the speed. If I come off the creep, you'll see I lose these bonuses. But also, here's the other thing that you'll see. Now I've got vision of this area. So if anybody walks through this area, if any enemy heroes walk through this area, well, now they can see me, or I can see them, I should say. You know, I can pop this down in a merc camp. Let's pop this over here. We'll take a walk over here. I can pop this baby down here onto the siege giant and walk away. And if any enemies come up to attack the siege giants, I'll know about it. I mean, imagine if this was a boss. I can do this around the boss. So it goes without saying, you want to be putting creep down all the time. You want to plaster as much of the map with creep as you possibly can. That's number one, because it's going to benefit you. You're going to be able to attack from longer range. You're going to move faster. It's going to make you very slippery when trying to, enemies try to get to you. You want to make sure you have as much creep as possible. You can overlap a little bit. So you notice if you just have one creep tumor, you've got this creep tumor here. It's pretty obvious that it's right in the center. You can put your creep tumor down on more creep. So I can do something like this, so it overlaps a little bit. So it may not necessarily be plainly obvious where this creep tumor is. Why is that important? So enemies by default can't see your creep tumor. They're not able to see it. They can't target it directly with auto attacks. What they need to do is they can, however, pop it and make it visible briefly with AoE effects. Like Gul'dan, for example, can go through and he can hit his creep with his Fell Flame. Arthas can go through with his AoE. You know, if Arthas is using his AoE slow, it'll actually burn through creep tumors and it'll reveal them. And then once they're revealed for that half second, you're able to walk up and then kind of smack at yourself with your fist or your sword or whatever you've got, whatever character you're playing. You know, if you watched that ill-fated Vala game, we were up against a Zagara, and I was using my multi-shot to take out creep tumors. And if you're facing Zagara, that's something that you want to do if at all possible. If you have an ability that you can use that isn't going to destroy your, it's not on some crazy long cooldown, you want to take care of the creep tumors, because if you can't, she's just going to paint this huge area with creep tumors, and then everything that she does will be amplified, and that's going to be tough to play against. So those are the creep tumors just to start with. So you can place these in bushes, place them in places that they're not necessarily going to be, out of the way spots where they're still going to be a benefit to you, but they're not necessarily going to be easily picked off by the enemy. And again, 18-second cooldown, so you do have some leeway in where you want to place them. So that being said, let's look at her other abilities. So first off, Baneling Barrage. Launch one Baneling that deals damage to enemies that it hits. Boom! Looks something like that. Notice that it does, you see there, it does hit in an AoE. These Banelings cannot be targeted by by towers or by players or by minions or anything like that. They just go until they hit something and then they explode. You get 4 charges, and you can see you can do a significant amount of damage to structures with them. It's a 3-second charge cooldown, and you can have 4 up total without any talent. You can burn through stuff pretty quickly if you hit everything with the AoE. Your next ability is Hunter Killer. Summon a Hydralisk to attack a single target. Deals 155 damage per second. Lasts 8 seconds. So here's the thing, you can't just pop on this Baneling, you can just kind of fire. You can't pop this down, you actually have to have a target. It doesn't have to be a hero, it could be a minion, it could be a merc, it could be whatever. I'm going to pop it here on this guy. You'll see, it actually spawned right away. There it is. So these guys, these guys get bonuses for the creep. If this hero runs away, then they'll be able to chase more quickly. And something like this can put a lot of pressure on an enemy hero because now you've got 2 things that are shooting at it, yourself as well as the Hydralisk. Lastly, we have Infested Drop. Bombard the target with a drop pod for 282 damage. Once it hits, it's going to spawn 2 Rochlings that deal 56 damage per second, something like this. It's a little difficult to hit people with this. There is kind of a big circle, like it's going to drop right here. So more likely you'll land next to them, and then the Rochlings will go through. And again, that's just extra damage, more stuff for you. If it's somebody like a stealthy, it'll kind of track the stealthy down a little bit and give you a couple of seconds where they won't be able to reveal, or won't be able to stealth, excuse me, because of the damage that's being caused. Let's look at her ults, and we'll talk about the ults. We'll start with the easy one, Devouring Maw. Summon a Devouring Maw that devours enemies. I never would have guessed. For 4 seconds. Devoured enemies cannot fight, and they take 190 damage per second. So you don't really use this for the damage, so to speak. It looks like this. So basically, it's this big thing that comes up. It grabs enemies. It does some damage, but it takes them out of a fight. There are a couple things that happen here. First off, look at that last note on the tooltip. Usable on unstoppable enemies. So we'll take somebody like Johanna, who can make herself unstoppable. It'll still eat her. It'll still grab her. You can grab multiple people in this. It doesn't have to be just the one. You can capture more than one at once. So what does this do? This is basically a stasis effect that does damage. They do have a second or so. I don't think it doesn't actually mention it on the tooltip of the ability, but there is like a second or so before this thing pops that you're able to, if you're under it, able to run out of it. So you want to make sure that you kind of target it toward the center where enemies aren't going to be able to get away. But what does it do? Aside from the damage, I mean, it's going to pull people out of the fight. It's going to pull people out of the fight. It will do some damage. You can set up combos with it. If you get 3 or 4 people all in a group and your team is nearby, as soon as this thing respawns, or as soon as this thing, I should say, lets go, you can drop more CC and kind of wombo them up and do a lot of damage. You can use it defensively. If somebody's chasing you, for example, you can drop this down kind of behind you. It's that's not what I want to do. I want to do one of these. It does count as terrain. You see, I can't path by it. So even if you don't necessarily hit them, they'll have to run around it. So there are uses to Devouring Maw. It is a 100-second cooldown, so it's on the longer end of the stick. Here's the interesting one.
Choose a talent.
You see a lot of play with this these days, and this is Nidus Network. You get 2 charges, 60-second charge cooldown. Summon a Nidus Worm on creep, so it has to be. So let's go over here where I don't have creep. Can't do it. Has to be on the creep. Has to be on the creep. It will make creep a little bit of range if I put it on the edge. If I go like that, you see it's going to extend this creep out just a little bit. So basically you can do it anywhere that she has vision. So let's go up here. We're gonna walk away. We're gonna put some creep over here. I could do something like that. Just because I had creep down and I ran away, I can pop the Nidus tunnel over here. Pretty much unlimited range. So it does a couple of things. One, creep spreads 15% farther. That's great for you. While on creep, each basic attack reduces all of your cooldowns by 3/4 of a second. That's crazy good. If you could paint things with creep and then just using basic attacks, you will have all of your abilities up more often, which is just ridiculous. Also, should note, I'm just going to drop a couple of things here. You can have up to 10 of these. But watch this. This is actually reducing not only the basic abilities, but it is reducing the cooldown on the Nidus network as well. So if you're on creep and you're attacking a lot, you're going to have more charges to drop more Nidus canals. Now here's the other thing that this does. Obviously, you can put this globally. You can plant the Nidus worm somewhere and then have it go up. Enemies can see this. Unlike creep, they can see this. If they find it, they're going to kill it. So you're going to want to place this in spots that are out of the way, in bushes, things that are kind of behind corners. You can go inside one. Yoink. This is a channel thing, so you can be knocked out of it. But then you can click a tunnel and you can pop out the other side, which gives you basically global ability if you can build the network. Here's the other thing that it does. Let's go play with these mercs here. Okay, guys, I'm gonna toggle cooldowns again. Okay, so now I've taken lots of damage. Okay, I'm gonna run away. I get away thanks to the fact that I'm on the creep. I run faster. I'm gonna go into the network. Watch my health. Watch my health. You just get crazy regen when you're on the creep. So this means for Zagara, if you have a Nidus tunnel up somewhere in some out of the way spot, you don't necessarily have to hearth. This is going to account for mana too. You can just pop in your tunnel and wait a few seconds. Boom, you are back to full. I've seen a lot of good places where it'll be an objective, and Zagara just places a tunnel just on the edge of the team fight, not close enough where it's going to be easily picked off, just far enough away that it's out of the open. She dives in, drops some stuff, maybe takes some damage, backs off for a minute, hops in there, and then suddenly, boom, now she's back to full and she's back in the fight. So it has the potential to be very, very powerful, especially on big maps that it's going to be really, really good. So let's take a run through. We'll take a run through the talents. Actually, we didn't even do the... Yeah, I'll take a run through the talents. Excuse me. We did cover the abilities. That's what happens when I'm not paying attention. And then we'll hop into a game. Alright. So first off, level 1, we have Infest. Nearby ranged minions will deal an additional 100% damage. Plus an additional 1% per 1,000 siege damage Zagara has dealt. So that's really interesting. You can turn it on and off, and the reason you can turn it on and off is... Let's go over here. We'll refresh the forts. We'll drop some more creep for the heck of it. You see the red little circle here? They do need to be in range. So, it kind of gives you a way that, hey, Zagara is nearby here if they see, like, the minion doing extra damage. So it does...
Choose a talent.
Does make a difference, and you can see here how much bonus damage that she's done. So I've done 3,000 siege damage with this now, and now I've done extra bonus damage. Now alternatively, we have Corpse Feeders, reduces the cooldown of Infested drop by 3 seconds. It's 12 by default. The Roachlings will take 40% less damage from non-heroic sources, so this will be great just to push down stuff. Gives your roaches a little more survivability when you're split pushing. Volatile Acid is another interesting one. Banelings can travel 50% further than before, and their damage to non-heroes is increased.
Choose a talent. Choose a talent.
By 50%. So let's go, we'll do something like this. You can see here, that's against a hero, that's against a minion. Boom. So much extra damage, and they have so much more range. So you can really kind of paint people from long range with this. Again, these can't be killed. They can be dodged, but they can't be killed. So this even has potentials in a team fight, where you can kind of like hang back and paint these from afar. Level 4, we have Envenom Spines. It's just your basically Envenom talent. Your basic Envenom talent. Activate to next your basic attack to apply Venom to a target, which is going to deal a chunk over 5 seconds. For the split push kind of stuff, we've got Medusa Blades. Basic attacks deal 33% damage to nearby targets. So this is just some split, some splash damage, something like that. So it's going to look something along these lines. It's great for clearing out minion waves. Alternatively, we have Serrated Spines. Each basic attack against a hero will increase your basic attack damage by 0.3.
Choose a talent.
It can be... It's one of those things that's... You'll watch this. You'll just watch it start to go up. This is, on one hand, this is really good if you can sit there and just get a crap ton of attacks. The downside is it does take a while to build up. I mean, I've only got 5 basic attack damage. The question is, how many attacks am I really going to foreseeably have on enemy heroes over the course of a game? Most of the damage that Zagara does is going to be due to abilities. It's going to be due to Hydralisk. It's not necessarily going to be due to basic attacks. So You know, if you think you're going to be, basic attacking all the time, maybe that's one to take. I personally think it's kind of a trap talent. But let me know if you think otherwise, and then tell me why. At level 7, Baneling Massacre will gain you 2 additional charges, so up to 6. So that's pretty solid. You can really burn down some stuff with that pretty quickly. I mean, look at all, that's a lot of damage right there. Alternatively, we have Viscous Acid. Banelings will slow enemies by 20% for 1.5 seconds. That can be useful for fighting heroes. And then here's a quest talent, which I'm going to talk about, but I'll tell you why I don't recommend it. You get Bile Drop. Passively increases the damage of infested drop by 50%. Let's take a look at this here. So this is the drop by itself. Great, 290 for that.
Choose a talent. Choose a talent.
Now it does 435. That's actually a significant amount. And every time you hit somebody, it's going to do conceivably more. You see, now it does more damage. Now it does even more damage. And yeah, and that's just, you get where I'm going with that. That's just going to stack up. Upon reaching 150% bonus damage, increase the impact radius. So let's complete this quest. I mean, that's not a huge... just look at the size of that circle there for a second, okay? Look at the size of that circle. They reset talents. Look at the size of it. It's not a huge increase in the radius. And the other reason that I think this is kind of a trap talent is this: it takes 20 hits with this. This is, on a 12-second cooldown, and it's not easy to hit with this. There is a lot. I mean, you've got to be perfect with it. People have to walk into it. People need to be CC'd. It's very difficult, in my opinion, to hit this 20 times, starting at level 7 over the course of a game. At level 13, so here's some potential interesting choices here. Hydraulic Transfusion. Zagara is healed for 75% of the damage dealt by Hunter Killer's basic attacks to heroes. So, you drop your Hunter Killers on heroes, they're going to passively heal you. Pretty sweet. Protective Coating. While on creep, Zagara gains 20 armor, taking 20% less damage. Now, on paper, this is really good. I do like it. It's really good, but it does rely on the fact that you need to have creep down. So you're going to have creep all over in the lanes, of course, especially in the early game when you're pushing. But toward the end of the game, if you're fighting over an objective, you may not necessarily be able to keep the creep up. The reason being, maybe you just don't have it up where you're fighting. So now it takes takes a little while for the creep to spread. Especially during team fights, there's going to be a lot of residual AOE damage that's going to pop your creep tumors. So the benefits of it could be mitigated by the fact that you just may not have creep up where the fight is taking place. Outside of that, we have Spell Shield. Your regular Spell Shield talent, every 30 seconds you gain 50 spell armor. This can be toggled on and off, so you can make sure it's on when you actually need it to be on. At 16, Brood Expansion. Reduce the cooldown of Hunter Killer by 6 seconds. It is a 14-second cooldown, so that makes it 8, which is pretty nice. Corrosive Saliva is really good. When used against heroes, Hunter Killers deal an additional damage equal to 2% of their maximum health. So that's pretty solid as well. And then Mutalisk is also one of those fun ones that I see often. Well, Hunter Killers now spawn a Mutalisk instead. I'm actually going to show this off. Let's go through. We'll take this.
Choose a talent.
They last 45 seconds. So let's drop this on this wall just for the sake of argument. Now it's a wall. It does some splash damage. You see him doing some splash damage here. These things last for 45 seconds. I mean, they can be killed. You could. We are victorious. If you're fighting, say, a boss or say a merchant, you could put this down potentially. You could have 2 or 3 of these things going off against the mercs. Because you'll have the cooldown reduction from fighting on creep. Let's just say you take Nidus Canal. On paper, it looks good because 45 seconds is great, but you saw how quickly that thing gets killed. So once it gets killed, it kind of loses some of its value there. But it's flying, so it'll chase over walls. It'll chase people down. There's some interesting potentialities with that there as well. Level 20, Tyrant Maw. Maw deals 50% more damage, and getting a takedown reduces its cooldown by 25 seconds, so that's fun. Endless Creep is strong. If you went Nidus Tunnel, cast range for Creep is increased by 2,000%. It's not global, but it's super big. I mean, I can pop a Creep tumor down right here now. I'm in range of that stupid tower. but I can pop a creep tumor right down here, and I'm way over here. It gives you tremendous range. You don't need to have vision, so you can do something like I don't have vision here. I can pop down a creep tumor, and then okay, now I've got some creep, and now I can pop down a Nidus Tunnel, and then suddenly I can be there. Now Arthas is going to go kill that, but you kind of get where I'm going with that, so that's pretty solid. The creep tumors now last 600 seconds, which it means if they don't get killed, they're going to last a very long time, and you gain an additional 10% move speed. So now you're basically, as long as you're on creep, you're at mount speed, which is as you might imagine is really strong. If you didn't go endless creep, if you didn't go Nidus Tunnel rather, if or you don't necessarily want this, we have Fury of the Storm. Every 5 seconds, your next basic attack will deal an additional 233 damage to the target, and 585 to all nearby minions, mercenaries, and monsters. Great for for split pushing. If you're still trying to push at level 20, if you need to push down a lane, pretty solid. So who is Zagara? Like who do you look out for at Zagara? Because she's a split pusher, you're gonna want to watch out for people who are gonna get the jump on you. Guys like Zeratul or Nova, who can sneak up on you and are going to try to counter your split push. People with some solid AoE on short cooldowns, they're going to be able to counter your creep tumors. Are going to be a pain in the ass. So like Arthas can walk through with his Orda on and tear your creep tumors down. Anybody like that is going to be a little bit troublesome for you. Anybody who can silence you will be trouble. Hopefully you can stay out of. See, outside of the creep, you have no mobility. Like the mobility that you have is just being on the creep and walking fast. Outside of the creep, you don't have any extra mobility. So that could give you trouble as well. Guys like Tassadar will just throw down his Psionic Storm and they can burn through your creep. You're going to be very strong, just like anybody else will, countered with paired with a good warrior who can CC and will allow you opportunities to kind of hang back and throw your abilities down on them and do some damage. Or on a big map, people that are going to engage the enemy team so you can kind of do work in one of the lanes in the meantime. Let's hop into a game and we'll take a look. Who else we want to look for? You want to look out for divey heroes. I mean, Illidan can be annoying. Kerrigan can get the drop on you.
The swarm endures.
We're going to hope for a nice 3-lane map that we can pick Nidus Tunnel and see if we can do some work. You can still do damage in a 2-lane map. It does limit your potential a little bit. So we've got a Tassadar and a Johanna and a Varian and a Genji. So that's not a bad combination. Not a true support, but we do have a very solid tank and potentially another tank. I would hope Varian actually would go Colossus Smash, to be honest. So we're up against Samaro, Tyrande, Dahaka, Zul, and Nazeebo. So this is a 3-lane map, but I might be in some trouble. Dahaka has his global presence of his own. His Dark Swarm will pop creep tumors. Zul and Nazeebo also have some split push potential. I mean, we just looked at Zul the other game. He pushed out pretty well. So we're going to see how this plays out. What they don't have a true support either. Although Tyrande can definitely dish out a bit more on the heal side than Tassadar does. I'm going to hope that Varian goes Colossus Smash. I think they don't, while they lack a true support, I think we beat them in the damage department. Genji can dive in and do some damage. I think we beat them in the damage department. And if he goes Colossus Smash, we have some burst potential with it. I mean, I would be okay with Twin Blades as well.
Combat imminent. Preparation advised.
I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna go Volatile Acid. I'm also gonna go bottom lane. I want to pop this here creep tumor right here. I'm just gonna start off. There's no reason not to. By the time the map starts and the timer starts, and by the time I get to the mid lane, my cooldown's gonna be up. So there's not really any point not to put a creep tumor down there, just because.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, here we go. We're gonna go down to bottom lane. I imagine one of Nazeebo or Zul are going to come here. I'm gonna pop some creep here. You do have a couple of seconds on the cooldown before you can pop more creep down. Oh, there we go. That is Tyrande. That is not who I expected at all. There is somebody else. Hello, Samara. I see you. I saw you anyway. We're just gonna put this down here. Oh, there you are again. You see, while I'm on the creep, it's going to be pretty difficult for Tyrande to hit me with that stun unless I'm not paying attention. I'm just going to grab this, run back. I'm going to pop that in the middle. Now, the middle is not necessarily the best place. Ooh, I got body blocked here. That's trouble. The middle of the lane isn't necessarily the best place to put that down because it is going to get popped easily, but
The shrine will be active soon. Prepare yourself.
now I'm going to hang out here. I'm going to work on, again, I'm going to work on the split push. Look, we've already done...
Go forth. Activate the shrine. Slay its guardians. The Punisher will serve the burning hells.
I was hoping Genji kind of went off sooner.
Select talent.
Nothing can stop me now.
Now here's this. Tyrande is down here. That's their support. Samaro may be here. And so I need to be careful about that. I'm gonna just put that there to get the cooldown come back up. But as long as that's going on, okay, Samaro is up top. And unfortunately he just got 2 kills. So maybe our team isn't prepared to maybe our team isn't prepared to engage. But we're gonna see if we can get some split push action right here. Take down this wall and start with. Now we're probably going to lose the objective. And that's fine for the first one. The first... Whoops, Maro came back to attack me. Now look at this. He does have movement speed, but I'm on the creep. I'm going to be able to get away.
The fittest shall survive.
I'm going to back off only because I don't want to overextend. I have no mana and I'm very low on the health pool.
As you say.
So we did lose it. Which again, it's not great, but not the worst thing in the world either. We're pretty much going to take this bottom fort.
The conquest begins. My brain hears.
There we go. Let's back off. So now we got a fort.
For the swarm. The conquest begins.
Select talent. Fort lost. Our enemy's Punisher has fallen. Now nothing will save them.
Shall survive. We devour.
Enemy slain.
There we go. There's a good kill. So I did mute everyone. I don't want to get tilted. I'm a little annoyed. It's the first fight. First off, it's the first fight. We got a building out of it.
For the swarm.
I'm gonna Hearth here actually. We did get a building out of it. Varian is gonna rank up, is gonna skill up or power up, I should say, once he gets to 10, and that's gonna turn the tides a little bit. Also, for a good portion of that fight, they had someone there who was trying to defend against me, which means it basically was a 4-on-4 fight. So here we go. Look what happens as soon as I walk away. I'm just gonna keep putting down some creep. That's my fault. I overextended. Zagara is probably going to kill me. Not Zagara, Samaro, excuse me. We're just gonna keep going. We may get away. We do just barely get away. Okay.
I'm going to pull back for now.
And this is what I was worried about. They do a very strong push. Samaro can take some camps.
A shrine gathers power. You will take it for me. The shrine. Activate it now! The heavens will fall before us!
I don't know where we are. We're gonna lose that top fort because they've got too much push.
Fort lost.
Now you shall pay.
Select talent.
I am definitely gonna take Nexus Network, and I'm gonna put one right here just to start. Actually, that's probably not bad. That's probably not a good place to put it, but that's fine. That's actually blocking the zone.
Our ally needs help.
The swarm will crush you.
Yep.
The angels have taken what is mine. An arcane punisher comes for us.
Okay, he can get by, so that's good. Let's say that wasn't a very good place for that Nidus tunnel.
Fort lost.
So here's the thing about the Nidus tunnels. Unlike the creep,
Their punisher lies broken at our feet.
the Nidus tunnels will stay there forever. I'm gonna go like that. Apparently, I blocked myself. That was a really shitty Nidus tunnel placement. Lesson 1.
Without question. Cunning. We devour.
We're gonna come in here. We're gonna get a little bit of mana.
Cunning.
The shrine gathers power. Claim it in my name. Loose the Punisher, heroes, and tear our foes apart.
There we go. There's a kill on that. Now we're going to get some health. Now here we go. We get a little bit of global presence where I can come up here now.
Cunning. We devour.
We're going to do something like that. There we go, kill against Zool. Team set me up for that, so that's great. I'm gonna pop that Nidus tunnel in the vent, so they can't see it, hopefully. I'm gonna be in some trouble here. Thank you, Joanna. There we go, there's another kill. I'm gonna back up out of this for just a second. I don't know where the rest of our team is. Are they dead? Like, what happened?
Efficient hunter. The mortar Punisher has set its sights upon us. Kill it!
We move.
Like, I'm really not sure. What did Varian go? Varian went Twin Blades. Okay. That's my fault. I should have, I definitely should have backed up a little bit and let that thing jump over the top. So I will take the blame for that for sure. Oh shit.
Enemy slain. Finally! Their Punisher has fallen before us!
Our ally is in need of assistance.
There we go. Good kill.
Impressive.
And here's the extra push. Kind of what I expected. We are going to walk over to here.
Nothing can stop me now. The swarm will crush you. Behold the Nidus worm. Yes. Just shall survive. My brain yields.
Not quite sure why we're engaging there. We're going to grab this and we're going to hop on there real fast.
The shrine will be ready soon.
For the swarm.
Now, I do have to watch out. Because again, I did block my stupid self. He's going to get killed. Unfortunately, Tassadar got killed as well.
I am impressed.
Keep lost. You know what to do. Slay the Guardians. Unleash the Punisher. Go now!
We're going to hop in some here. We're going to get some health. Hopefully give our team a chance to come back. Except Varian is fucking off up here
As you say.
and not fighting the objective. I don't know what anybody's doing.
This hero out of
Feel the fury of the swarm. Survive.
This is it. I'm just trying to get basic attacks here. To reduce the cooldowns and all the things. Whoops, gotta watch out. Okay, here's a Samaro. Need to be careful on him. There we go, kill on Zagara, or Zagaka, wrong Zerg. We're gonna get that kill there. We're going to get the Punisher.
Frozen Punisher.
Now the problem is we are still
enlist the aid of these mercenaries.
we're still pretty far behind. And they're most likely gonna take this down pretty quickly.
No! Our Punisher has been slaughtered!
Enlist the aid of these mercenaries.
We're gonna hop into here. We're gonna get some mana, and we're gonna pop back out. Alright.
If your side
The cooldown on this is 40 seconds, so we've got some time.
my way.
It should be a dead Zool. It is a dead Zool. Now this might be a dead Zagara. I'm trying to get on the creep to get away. I don't make it. Our team was dead. Tassadar was dead. He's running away. And we're in a bad position. We're down 2 keeps, or 1 keep, excuse me. We're down all our other buildings. They only have 1 building destroyed, and that's the building. Look at this. This is the fort that I destroyed in that first push in the middle of the game, and then we've done nothing else since. Now what I need to watch out for, like, I don't know what Varian is talking about, because we're all dead. But now what I want to watch out for, they're making it a point to, like, to kill all of my Nidus tunnels, which very severely limits where I can travel on the map.
It will be made to serve us.
Interesting choices here.
Under attack. Very bad.
We're gonna go Fury of the Swarm just because we need the counter push.
The swarm is eternal.
Here we go.
Activate the shrine quickly. Punisher awaits.
Agreed. Now we shall pay.
Enemy slain. Enemy attacking core.
Yep.
The angels have brought forth a mortar Punisher.
I stand triumphant.
Oh, that was so dumb. That was so dumb.
vengeance will be complete.
There we go. That's kind of what I wanted to do, but we would have been better if we had a wall up there first.
Must defend.
Gonna get some mana very quickly, or some health I should say, come back out. So we're gonna keep the keep, at the very least.
Is dead. Now we punish them.
Agreed. We devour. As you say. I am your undoing.
Oh, I'm gonna lose this. That walked into that one.
Reconstitution.
Really not much I could do there. I kind of walked into that. Like, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what that was. He's gonna get killed. Varian is probably going to get killed.
Core under attack. Very bad.
Jesus Christ.
This shrine gathers power. Claim it in my name. Keep lost. Attacking core.
It's probably game here. There's a high chance this is game.
Loose the Punisher, heroes. Let it tear our foes apart. Enemy slain.
Alright, we got a Samaro.
Your time is over.
I'm gonna try to block some of these. Now I do have a creep tumor. I do have a Nidus tunnel up there. If I can, if we can live long enough to actually bother to use it,
Identified. Eliminate this hero.
we're gonna see how this works.
Feel the fury of the swarm. Without question. We devour. Without question.
All right, here comes company.
Core under attack. Very bad.
The swarm rises.
Enemy slain. Double termination. Triple termination.
Your time is
There we go. So we get the. We somehow managed to get it. Genji goes down.
From the depths.
We still have a lot of map pressure we have to watch out for, though. They have 2 keeps down now. Or we have 2 keeps down now, I should say.
agreed. Feel the fury of the swarm.
Let's see what we can do. We're gonna walk over here.
The fittest shall survive.
Yeah, I'll help you out.
Enlist the aid of these mercenaries.
Fort eliminated.
Well deserved, my friends.
Fury of the swarm. Rise, Nidus.
The enemy has defeated our
Oop,
Punisher.
now I need to watch out.
Our vengeance will be complete.
Good kill. Very good kill, actually.
The earth trembles. The conquest begins. We devour. Agreed. Now you shall pay.
Slain.
That's a bad... that was a bad ult by Genji, but we do get the kill there, which is nice.
Kill confirmed.
Crush you.
Efficient hunter.
As you say.
Gathers within the shrine. It will be made to serve us.
Our vengeance will be complete.
Okay, we're gonna paint this whole area. What we're actually gonna do is we're gonna go back to the core.
Very bad.
The conquest begins.
The shrine. Activate it now. The heavens will fall before us. Enemy attacking core.
Yeah, this might be game.
We must retreat.
Just tons and tons of map pressure. Alright, so they got my Nidus tunnel over here, but we're just gonna go like this. Actually, it doesn't make a difference because they already took it, so that's probably gonna be game.
Against you, heroes.
We're gonna pop out here. He got blown up. Oh, he still made it.
Slain.
Samaro got killed. That's nice.
Lost.
Oh, shit.
Agreed.
That's game. And GG. Yep, so that was, our team was not good. My team was bad. I don't think their team was great either. Let's talk about it.
Not possible.
I'll kind of give a recap. I know it was a little quiet during most of the game, trying to keep things going. We'll see why I think we did shit. Nazebo, yeah, lots of damage there. Siege damage, XP. I'm gonna vote for myself. I thought I did well. I thought my team was not good. Experience! Yeah, okay. Let's look at the stats here. Yeah, look at, I mean, crazy amounts of siege damage. Lots of experience. Tried to keep us in the game. A fairly decent amount of hero damage as well. Died twice. I got caught out and I got picked off. I mean, that happens occasionally. That one time I walked through, I was trying to get away. I was out of position, and Dahaka made a good pick to block off my escape. And the other time I just kind of got caught out and died. Yeah, their Nazebo played very well. Clearly, as the game goes on, Nazebo is going to do better because he's going to be able to stack up his quests, stack up his trait. I don't think our team played well. I mean, right from the get-go, they're talking about that very first shrine. The very first shrine, they're like, oh, we can't do this without Zagara. And I'm sitting here going, in the beginning of that shrine, I had both Samaro and Tyrande attack, facing off against me, which means at best that's a 4-on-3 right when it starts. And then, even afterwards, I was halfway through it, Samaro still came back down to harass me and kind of prevent my split push, which means it's still a 4-on-4. So, 4-on-4, yeah, I could have been there, but they're not split pushing. I was trying to keep us in the experience lead. I also think it didn't make that big of a difference. Varian was going to get stronger as the game went on, although I didn't think he played very... I think he picked up poor talents. We'll talk about it. Yeah, I don't think the team... I don't think the team was very good. Most of the time, I think they were very much out of position, and they were engaging poorly. Like, there were a lot of times where I'm sitting there and going like, okay, I know I just used a Nidus tunnel to get to the position, but you guys are nowhere near where you need to be. And I think that played a part in our failure. I mean, they don't have... I mean, look at the team they've got. Dahaka can be okay, but they don't have huge amounts of damage. Nazebo can scale up toward the end. Nazebo does surprising, scary damage at the end, but they don't have huge amounts of damage. Varian can pump out some damage. I guess we don't either. I don't know. Let's look at the talents. We'll see what went wrong here. I think Varian definitely should have gone Shield Wall at level 4. That probably would have helped him out. I guess I see where he's going with that, where he went Juggernaut. I don't like Twin Blades. I think Twin Blades is... I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I think we would have been well suited with a Colossus Smash here with the pair with Johanna. Johanna had a pretty solid one. She had a Regen Master. Falling Sword, Hold Your Ground. Indestructible. She had a fairly solid build. The Genji build was standard as well, more or less. I don't know. It was just one of those things. Like, I'm not sure what Tassadar was doing for a good chunk of that. I'm not, it was a tough matchup. It was a tough matchup, as it was. I think we could have done better. We could have done better at picking some people off. There were guys who were just getting away with slivers of their health, and I think we weren't going in as a team. That's kind of the long and short of it. Anyway, let's look at the talents. I went Volatile Acid, so I went for the extra range on the Banelings and try to get some push going on and have them do damage. It helped out with the Merc Camps. Level 4. Medusa Blades to deal 33% more damage to 3. Maybe I should have gone more of a teamfight build. I'm not sure. Perhaps that's where we erred. I mean, it could be something to think about. I did go Medusa Blades at 4. At 7, I went Baneling Massacre to get extra Banelings. Nidus Tunnel. Hopefully you saw the idea. The enemy team was kind of putting pressure on us, and they did a good job of killing my Nidus Tunnels. So, but hopefully you get a good idea of what Nidus Network is capable of. I was able to kind of fly all over the place, and the regen was also very valuable. Hydralisk Transfusion at level 13 to try to get some sustain going on, and then at 16 for Corrosive Saliva. I think this did a lot of damage. And then finally at 20, we were facing a lot of pressure, so I went Fury of the Swarm to do a lot of damage to enemy minions that were pressuring us. It helped out a little bit, but I think at that point in the game, we were just kind of too far behind the 8-ball to really do anything. So that's Zagara in a nutshell. Yeah, 8 mercenary camps, woohoo. That's Zagara in a nutshell. Yeah, she has her moments. She really, unfortunately this was not a good matchup for her. Nazebo and Zul kind of both can be very strong anti-pushers as well, which kind of puts pressure on them. But otherwise, that's kind of all she wrote. We certainly tried. My name is Conman. Of course, let me know what you think. I'll put the build up there on the Heroes Earth and pop it in the description as I usually do. And yeah, thanks for watching. Take care.